Maureen, and today I'm going to tell you about what I have learned and strategized about finances. But before I begin, I would like to thank my mom and dad for all that they have taught me about saving money, and Susie Orman for the common sense approach to affordability. Let me tell you a little bit about what I have learned. My parents have taught me to never spend more than I make. For example, I mustn't charge something on my credit card if I don't have the money in the bank already. I swear to you, the skill of money management begins from the time you receive or earn money. If you don't manage your money from the very beginning, you can be setting yourself up for failure by creating a poor habit of choice, and it can be really hard to undo later. For example, I know of many people who, while in college and high school, spent most of their money on shopping, eating out at restaurants, and entertainment. When they eventually became financially independent, they struggled to cope with the economic and financial reality of living. It's not something to be taken lightly because many of those affected people have turned toward all sorts of addictions. This should not be the kind of society we want for our future. So therefore, learning about financial management early on is crucial for a person's overall security, well-being, and even personal relationships. I have watched several of Susie Orman's shows, and I've learned from her that just because you have the money or you have a credit card, it doesn't guarantee that you can afford something you want to buy. So now I'm going to move on to sharing with you my strategy for managing finances. Like I said before, the skill of managing money is best learned when someone first begins to receive or earn money. That's because managing money becomes a habit, and good habits early on lead to a person of having happiness and success in their life. So first, a person needs to have a budget. This can be done in many ways, but I'm going to share with you my personal strategy. For someone who is financially dependent on someone else, I would save any received or earned income and spend money only on what is necessary. For example, let's pretend I'm making $500 a month while going to school. I would use the money only for necessary transportation, food that cannot be made at home, and other basic needs. I would save the rest for either an emergency or a future investment, such as a car. It's hard to make big purchases later without an initial investment. Anyway, once the money saved becomes enough to deposit into a certificate of deposit account, I would check which bank or credit union has the best rates, then open a CD account. Eventually, money will be needed for education, rental security deposit, and a purchase of a vehicle or home. Credit cards should be paid in full on time every month. Why waste money on interest and fees when you can save it or spend it on something fun? The only thing I would finance and not pay in full each month is a home. I would not buy a home unless I had at least 30% down. Otherwise, I wouldn't feel as if I've earned it, and I could be at risk of foreclosing sometime in the future. That's because emergencies come up, and sometimes the emergency fund isn't enough to cover the expenses. People can end up not having enough funds to pay for their mortgage, even if their financial emergency is temporary, and as a result lose their home forever. It's important to make sure that your large investments are secure, so I recommend paying into your mortgage as much as comfortably possible. Doing this can reduce your total lifetime cost of mortgage loan interest. For someone who is financially independent, I recommend the percentage budget system. It works like this. Rent or mortgage should not be more than 30% of your income. If it is, then I recommend downsizing your living situation, whether it be renting a room, sharing a room, or living with a friend or relative who would be willing to charge cheaper rent. Ideally, the percentage would be less than 30%. So the remainder can be saved for the down payment of a future home. The next part of the system is to find out the estimated highest potential cost in a month for utilities. Find out the percentage it would be of your monthly income. Always take that percentage from your paycheck and save it for your utility bills. Whatever is left over should be used toward your savings or emergency fund. Next, take out a reasonable estimated percent from your paycheck from each of the following: medical, groceries and toiletries, transportation, which includes insurance, registration, and fuel, savings, and emergency fund. What is left over from your paycheck is for entertainment, shopping, and vacation fund. An important rule is to never take or borrow money intended for a different use. If necessary, change the percentages a little bit, but remember that the more you save, the more you can have. The last tip I'm going to give you is the most important one. I have made this mistake before and suffered. If whenever you are ready to make a large or unique purchase, always consider the opinions of several people. I suggest you include older adults who have experienced economic hardships such as the Great Depression, adults who have financially done well for themselves, and people who don't have much of anything at all. The reason why I suggest those who are poor is because they can remind you about the true value of your hard-earned money. Thank you for listening to me talk about what I have learned about money and the strategy that I believe in to manage your finances. I hope that it can benefit your future financial decisions, and I wish you a stable financial future. Thank you.